In a beautiful village inhabited by roses and blooming flowers, there lived a girl named Liana. Liana was a kind-hearted and beautiful girl, and she always had a gentle smile on her face. One day, Liana decided to take a trip to explore the world around her. She wore a pink dress, filled a small basket with roses, and began her journey through the beautiful countryside. The sun was shining, and the birds were happily singing their welcome. On her journey, Liana met new friends, such as colorful butterflies and singing birds. She shared her conversations and flowers with them, and life seemed like a beautiful poem. On her journey, Liana met new friends, such as colorful butterflies and singing birds. She shared her conversations and flowers with them, and life seemed like a beautiful poem. One day, Liana found a secret orchard extending on the banks of a clear river. The orchard was full of lemon trees and colorful flowers. There, Liana discovered that the roses she was carrying were not just ordinary flowers, but rather carried magical powers. Liana learned that those roses were able to bring happiness and joy to everyone they touched. She decided to share these magical gifts with people on her journey, to spread joy and love wherever she went. Liana learned that those roses were able to bring happiness and joy to everyone they touched. She decided to share these magical gifts with people on her journey, to spread joy and love wherever she went. And so, Liana returned home after her trip, but this time it was filled with people's smiles and the enchanting scent of roses. I realized that the most beautiful adventures in life are those in which you share happiness with others. Thus ended the story of Liana, the beautiful girl who surrounded the world with flowers of happiness and love. In the following days, the villagers became fascinated by Liana's story, and they began to come to her to hear about her adventures and to collect a few of those magical roses. Liana has become a leader in building bridges of friendship and a transmitter of the spirit of optimism. Over time, Liana's influence expanded, until her story became an inspiring one for many in the village and even in the surrounding areas. Liana makes sure that the power of happiness and positivity extends to touch everyone's lives. One day, Liana planted a special flower in her garden, a flower that carried hope and tolerance. This flower, which she called the flower of unity, represented a symbol of understanding between people regardless of their differences. Over time, Liana became not only a storyteller and happiness grower, but also a wise leader who encouraged everyone to embrace the spirit of unity and cooperation. Thus, Liana continued her life, her bright smile drawing the path to happiness for others, and her words serving as a source of inspiration for the rising generations. In the end, Liana knew that the most beautiful stories are those written with moments of joy and positive communication. One day, on the banks of the river running next to her village, Liana discovered a golden flower. This flower was shining with a special luster and emitting rays that illuminated the atmosphere. Liana decided to name it Flower of Hope. When she decided to plant a flower of hope in her village, strange events began to happen. Incredible happiness and optimism spread. The flowers in the gardens became more beautiful, and new, never-before-seen colors appeared. Life in the village has also become full of enthusiasm and creativity. People discovered that the flower of hope had a special effect. Whenever they looked at it, they felt hopeful and powerful to achieve their dreams. The village began to attract people from far and wide, wanting to participate in these wonderful transformations. Over time, Liana Village became an example of cooperation and solidarity. It has become a magnet for those seeking happiness and inspiration. People came to hear Liana's stories and see the flower of hope that surrounded the village with optimism and tolerance. Every year, Liana Village organizes the Festival of Hope, where people gather to celebrate togetherness and positivity. Everyone in the village was part of this beautiful story, as the flower of hope lit up their skies with incomparable light. In this way, the story of Liana and the Flower of Hope continued to write new chapters of optimism and happiness, leaving a beautiful imprint in people's hearts and inspiring them to give more and be positive. Over time, the story of Liana and the Flower of Hope spread far and wide until it resonated in other countries. People began to wonder about the secret of that golden flower that had revolutionized Liana village. One day, Liana received an invitation to participate in a global conference on happiness and solidarity. People wanted to hear her story and learn how hope can inspire positive change. Liana eagerly traveled to the conference and was warmly received. All nations looked at her as a symbol of change and happiness. Speaking to the huge crowd, Liana shared her story and how the Flower of Hope became a symbol of connection and solidarity in her village. Liana's words impressed the audience, and her message resonated in the hearts of people around the world. At the conclusion of the conference, Liana decided to establish a global campaign called Flower of Hope, which aims to encourage people to cultivate hope and positivity in their lives and share it with others. With people from all over the world contributing, the Flower of Hope campaign has grown into a global movement. Golden flowers were everywhere, each one carrying a unique story of change and positive impact. In this way, Liana and the Flower of Hope have become not only a representation of a small village, but also a symbol of hope and change in a world that needs more positivity and cooperation. As Liana learned from the beginning, true power lies in our ability to turn difficult times into opportunities to plant flowers of hope and change in the lives of others. As the Flower of Hope campaign expands, so do the inspiring stories and positive impact in every corner of the world. People started sharing her beautiful moments and inspiring stories, and the campaign became not just a campaign, but a movement that brings people together around the idea of changing lives with positivity. The Flower of Hope has appeared in unexpected places, on balconies, in schools, in parks, and even in workplaces. Whenever people look at those bright flowers, they are reminded of the power of a small change that can grow into a big impact. The campaign expanded to include social projects, funding projects to support education, improve living conditions in poor areas, and promote children's rights. Each project carried the spirit of Flower of Hope and the belief that change begins from within. Meanwhile, Liana continued to live her quiet life in her village, but she was thrilled to see the joy and positive transformation that her story and Flower of Hope brought to people's lives. One day, a letter arrived to Liana from one of the children who had been inspired by her story. They told her how much Flower of Hope had changed their lives and inspired them to make the same difference in the lives of others. This inspiring response made Liana's heart fill with joy as she realized that the seed of hope she had planted had grown and yielded beautiful fruits. And in this way, the Flower of Hope continued to trace its way around the world, blooming everywhere, radiating optimism and change. Although Liana's own journey has come to an end, her story lives on as a symbol of the hope and strength that every individual who is able to transform the world with positivity holds. The fame and positive impact of the Flower of Hope campaign, a major event was organized in Liana village to celebrate the campaign's remarkable achievements. People came from far and wide to celebrate the historic moment and to honor Liana and the Flower of Hope. The village turned into a sea of colors and light, as flowers of hope mixed with the decorations of the place, as if each flower carried a small success story. The atmosphere was full of joy and optimism, and everyone was sharing smiles and stories. If you like the video, do not forget to like and subscribe to receive all new updates.